Sunday Sewn, 30 to be precise. Let's start off with a bit of music, shall we? Up here somewhere. Find the right button, Alan.
Whisper all your energy to me, and I'll shout it right back. Floating high above the sea, bringing me to attack. Energy, the energy. What's it gonna be? The energy flowing out of me. Whisper all your energy to me, and I'll pulse it right back. Floating high above the sea, bringing me to attack. Energy, the energy. What's it gonna be? The energy flowing out of me. Energy. What's it gonna be? The energy flowing out of me. What's it gonna be? Flowing out of me. The energy. What's it gonna be? The energy flowing out of me.
Well, that was pretty good, I thought. That was a band that was once called Versatile. I played it on my last show, actually. My son's band, anyway. Let's get to the news. Well, it's not really the news, actually. It's more of a prediction of the future next year, because it's the end of the year today. Been watching this guy, Jason something or other from Archaics. His name of his channel is. I'll put the link in the description. He's a chronologist. He's read a lot of books about the old books about the history and things like that, and he's worked out a chronology of the way things may happen, and a lot of his prediction type things. Or he doesn't really call them predictions. He doesn't like to call them predictions because they're things he's made up from data sets and working things out mathematically. And it's quite interesting. He's got a lot of good videos, and there's one video I'm about to show you is it's like a 5-minute section of a bigger show. It's are they Rise Above TV? That's a mob that is a guest on their show, but he goes into some things that are going to happen next year in around about the Olympics in Paris. Apparently they're really good. You know, then all sorts of shit's going to hit the fan, I reckon. Well, I'll let Jason say what he has to say, and we'll take it from there.
What the second seal is about. The second seal is also total misdirection from the Judeo-Christian perspective. If you use Judeo-Christian eschatological interpretive tools, you will never decode the second seal the way you're supposed to. But if you use just a plain old Greek lexicon and break down the cognates, the root words, and the actual meanings of the Greek words, it says something completely different than what it says in English.
So what does it say in English?
The second seal is amazing. The second seal in English in our Bible says that a red horseman appears with a great sword, and he comes to take peace from the earth and cause all kinds of violence, war. And this is always in all the Christian eschatology, all the movies, all the books, all the sermons on Sunday. It's always a war that follows the appearance of the Antichrist. This is the great war to fight against whoever the Antichrist is. And sometimes people associate it with Islam, sometimes they don't. But what's really interesting is that that's not what that seal conveys in Greek. In Greek, it literally conveys thousands of small fires burning in different areas and thousands of little skirmishes with small dirks and daggers. Small armed warfare. Not a great war, but specifically designed to take peace from the earth.
So
now,
like a small war, but on a huge scale. So small,
it's not a sword. It's not a sword.
No, I mean a war. It's like small fighting,
in
small scale fighting.
Sword. In English, it's great sword. In Greek, it's little dagger. Huge difference.
Right.
And the word great in Greek isn't great sword. It's great as in a multiplicity of events all happening at the same time. So it's a totally different meaning. So what we have with the second seal,
it's a numeric meaning.
Yeah, not only that, it's plural. Yes,
Yeah.
It's not only numeric, but it changes. We're not looking at conventional warfare with armored columns, rockets, aircraft carrier. This is not something to take for empires to fall. This is to take peace from the earth. That's what it's for. And you have to put it in its proper context. The 7 seals are messages only to, you have to understand, only to the 7 cities that they were addressed to. Those 7 cities were Greek. You need to use Greek to decode them. These are Western nations that are going to be suffering this, not Eastern nations. These are Western nations.
Can you reel us off a list of which locations you believe this to be happening, Jason?
Well, it's going to take off in France. It's going to go straight through Germany. It's going to take off in Spain. Everywhere that we have a lot of migrants, a lot of Muslims, a lot of people that are not in the countries of their nativity, like the UK. Even Ireland now is getting a lot of immigrants. Canada, the east coast of the United States, maybe the west coast of the United States. Western nations are going to be going through all kinds of attacks against their infrastructure from small arms, little guerrilla cells. They're not designed to conquer and take over. They're only designed to take peace from the earth. This is knife warfare. This is small arms warfare. This is urban fighting. This isn't involving armies. This is to take peace from the earth, just like 2020 did, just like the breaking of the first seal, except that was done by the pharmaceutical companies, which are funded by George Soros and Sons. Now, the second seal is also funded by the same people. Who do you think paid for all these migrants to be just sitting up for the last 7 and 8 years and building in numbers and arming them and making sure they can stay in these hotels and these Airbnbs and stay there indefinitely until they get their call. And their call is, I guarantee you, the call is going out during the Olympics in France.
It's in Paris, isn't it?
It's in
the Olympics.
Yeah, it is the Paris Olympics. It's I've already studied the calendrics, and it's absolutely calendrically and mathematically connected to 1972 when the Palestinians machine gunned nine or 11 Israelis.
So this is based on your isometric projections, Jason.
I'm glad Jason.
Absolutely.
I'm very glad Jason brought this up, right? Because in the UK, this is a touchy subject, even for people within our community, because for some people to question why there are large groups of young men from predominantly Muslim countries, most of them war-torn. All of these countries are anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, right? So let's put this into context. I'm just saying they're coming into these Western countries, which are all.
I'm just sort of like trying to watch the video and shit because I hadn't watched it yet. So I'm trying to.
So you can see this.
Trying to make sure I know what we're about to be talking about.
In the UK, to even mention any questions of what all these young men are here and doing, it is considered, racist and right wing. But we have to be objective about this. Here is
that's all right.
I'm just going to show you a picture, Jason. Now,
okay.
Just where we live in Dorset, there's a place called Portland, which is a port. It's sort of like a little peninsula. And there's a very controversial story at the moment about this.
Oh, no, they can.
The screen?
No, they can. Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah,
it's a barge, right?
Live. Yeah.
Now, this barge, it has been moved to this small town of Portland, which has got only a few thousand people living there, literally a couple of thousand people, and this barge houses 500.
So we should just be quiet till the end of the video so I can listen to the rest of that.
Now, they're
from various ethnicities, from geographical locations.
But the one common denominator is they're mostly from war-torn countries.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, these barges are not just in one place; they're all over Europe. I did a quick little search all over Europe.
Yep.
All housing 500.
Well, I don't think it's always 500, but that was an example of one that houses 500.
Well, listen, the plan on Marrakesh TV, I outlined the plan. It's very simple to understand. It's they literally put cells in all these Western nations, and then the trigger event is what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians right now, and what they've been doing in Gaza. This is the trigger event. Now, it's going to actually blow up into a series of anti-Israeli events internationally. The next move you're going to see is several different countries are about to go public with anti-Israeli sentiment. They're about to stop trade. They're going to be doing trade embargoes. This is what you're about to see. Every bit of this is about to unfold. Israel had 100% backing from all these countries internationally, but now all of a sudden they're going to be isolated. And it hurts my heart to say this, but man, all these countries that are going to be coming against Israel, the United States is still going to be behind this whole. I don't even know if I can say the Z word, but that's you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just call them.
We know. Everyone here, everyone listening knows.
Yeah, United States is a captured operation. It's been a captured operation. It's the more I've looked into this, I see this whole thing is by design. So what's going to happen is the United States and probably some other Western militaries are going to suppress all the designs of these countries and attacking Israel. We're going to be Israel's shield once again, and that's what's going to trigger what's going to happen at the Olympics. And then the shit is going to hit the fan from all over the United States, but it's going to be small. It's going to be thousands of small events. It's not going to be all-out warfare. There's some people listening to my voice may be taking up arms against some of these men that have been put in our countries. I can see that happening. I don't see any militaries helping defend at all. I believe this is all going to be urban small warfare to take peace from the earth, and they're going to use all this infighting everywhere in the UK, everywhere in the United States, everywhere in Canada, in Germany, France, in Spain. They're going to use that as, just like they did in 2020, create travel restrictions, lockdowns, curfews. And then we're going to be going through that again for another 18 months until everything dies down. And then for about 2.5 years, then we'll wait on the third seal to be broken, which is along the same lines. It's all to take peace from the earth. So I'm telling you all this because it goes with exactly what you're talking about. To increase this destitution, this fear in the collective, because what they're really doing is preparing the surface of the world to basically absorb most of the shock from the Phoenix phenomenon when it appears.
So what you're saying is it could be like
Michael.
Certainly, that's worth for Michael. They cause as maximum destruction, chaos, disenfranchisement as you can, so that when the Phoenix takes place, some people may be too preoccupied with what else is going on to even notice this phenomenon that's happening. That's mad. Now, I just want to reload a little bit. I think it was about a year ago or 18 months. You were doing a predictions video, and it's all linked together with this. You were saying that in this year, in 2023, we were going to see a rise in open public condemnment of that crew with tiny little hats.
The little hats.
Yeah,
the Little Hat Coalition. I'm just going to put a meme on the screen, which one of our guys made, which I thought was cool. I don't know if you can see that, Jason. But I've noticed that you were absolutely right. You were absolutely correct. I've been covering this on the show a little bit recently in the last few months, that there are people saying things online now that people are actually in prison for, that have been previously convicted for hate crime, etc., and are actually serving physical time behind bars. And I'm seeing multiple accounts of people that don't seem to be bots either, openly pumping out, questioning that big historical event that you can't question, talking about the man with the small mustache and about his intentions, talking about the actual legitimacy historically of the dark little hat priest class, should we say, and how, and all of those things, and really going right to the bottom of the barrel with it, and some of it may or may not be true, but very inflammatory, right? And I'm thinking, what the hell has gone on? Has someone changed the filter controls? Has AIA switched up the formula? Why is this allowing to be said? And then it syncs up.
I would like to address that too. Okay. I made that prediction at the same time that I also. It's really not a prediction. It's an extrapolation. There's a difference. A prediction kind of makes me sound like I'm a prophet. An extrapolation means that it's an educated guess based off data sets, and that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's calendrics. I'm looking at historical events that have mathematical pattern value, and I'm showing how they project onto the coordinates of the future. Coordinates happen to be dates. So. Yes, that was a prediction, but so was also in that same video that Israel was going to be at war by the end of 2023. I just didn't know it was going to be what they're actually doing, because that's not a war. You send APCs and armored columns and tanks and flamethrowers and jets and helicopters and Delta teams, all that. You send all that into a population that does not have APCs, Jeeps, tanks, Delta teams. There's a whole area of Gaza that don't even have an army.
There's no army. They've got no army.
Yeah, they don't have any of that. So they're steady put. This is why so many different countries are already openly talking about sanctions against Israel. This is why you're going to see this real fast. You're going to see some shakeups at the UN. You're going to see shakeups with NATO. I'm telling you, man, this is going to get real interesting in the next couple of months concerning Israel, as more and more countries, probably all the BRICS nations will start becoming anti-Semitic. But all this is by design. None of this is original. It's all orchestrated.
Yeah, man.
Just like what you just said. On Archaics TV, I have already told my listeners there that
you said
censorship has been lifted specifically to allow truthers and other people
5 minutes of it or something.
Facts,
so yeah,
add to the
saying
chaos.
more about what's going on, so they can get that anger.
No. Someone said keep playing it.
Even right now, YouTube has lifted up a lot.
Someone on my Telegram channel
just away with a lot on YouTube now, as opposed to 6 months ago.
I wonder if that's why, like I was saying earlier, I've recently been offered this YouTube re-education training rather than them just giving us strikes and cancelling the channel, because it was almost teaching me how to present what they don't want you to show, as long as you give some countering information for a bit of balance. It's not like you can't address these things. It says you have to give balance and say that you want to, if you want to know about the Britney Spears concert.
YouTube's a business, and I'm going to tell you now, I'm very privy to the scam, but a lot of people who have had their channels deleted, you will find that they have a thriving paywall existing somewhere. And listen, there's a lot of channels who claim they were deleted who weren't deleted at all. And YouTube's a business. YouTube wants to make that money. So if more and more people are going to go to other platforms because they can make 5 and 6 times the money behind a paywall with 10 times less subscribers than YouTube, then YouTube made an executive decision to stop being such assholes and censoring everybody because too many people are leaving.
Sure.
So it's both. You're right. And from YouTube's perspective, you have to understand, as a business, they realize, oh shit, way too many people are catching on that they can delete their channels and just go start a paywall and make way more money. We need to put a stop to that. So YouTube has been throwing out some hell of incentives to stay lately.
That's very, very interesting. Just going back to the second seal, right? Because obviously we're a UK-based show. We have people from all over the realm, all over the crater, all over the simulacrum tune in. America, Canada, Asia, Europe. But we're in the UK, and something that happened to us called Brexit, which people have very strong feelings about. Now, you've said something very interesting about Brexit. And forgive me if I get this wrong. What you said is something like, part of the reason that Brexit happened is because of the square mile in London, the banking elite know that Europe is going to fall. And this was their way to sort of distance themselves, apart from the English channel we've got, but, to not be part of the EU. Is that have I got that right?
Yeah. It's they did the same thing with Washington D.C. If the United States ever becomes a captured operation, the United States, Washington D.C. can continue functioning, continue being autonomous. It does not fear invasion. It's the same thing. Same thing with the Vatican. The Vatican is not a part of Italy. It's not a part of Rome.
Yes, it's his own concept.
Yes, all three of those areas are sanctuaries to the elite. These are areas that they don't have to worry about because it's already understood that. I mean, first of all, the only reason that works, the only reason that system works, is because the military-industrial complex is no longer fighting with each other. This is over with. Those days, World War II was the last real war. Everything else was political posturing. The whole 12 years of the Vietnam War was actually a de facto war between the United States and China, and all we were doing was getting jungle training. That's all it was. This is really it's a fact that people just don't want to accept. There are no militaries in the world that are against each other anymore. The entire military industrial complex is all on board with each other. It's all none of this, everything that's going on as far as big events in the world is all staged, orchestrated, and planned and financed by the same people. It's not, we're no longer in a world of a bunch of multiple different ethnicities and cultures vying for power. That's over with. The world has been subdued. That's over with. And there's no more good guys. There's no more good guys in politics. That's over with. I mean, everybody even the whole Trump deal, there's going to be the suicide rate among conservatives is going to be so high when they finally realize who he is and what he's been doing, and that he was highly trained to say everything the American public wanted to hear. But when they finally find out that he's a Z and that he's a tiny hat, there's going to be a suicide rate that's never been experienced before in the United conservatives. Half of David Nino Rodriguez's channel are going to kill themselves.
Wow, mate. Wow. You must know about that film that came out, which is basically a Q movie. It came out earlier this year called The Sound of Freedom. Did you hear about that?
I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen it either, but I did.
It was playing on the plane back from Thailand.
Was it playing?
Yeah.
Well, it seemed.
I didn't watch it. I didn't want to subject myself to that.
It had a big hype about it, and in a nutshell, it's no spoiler here. People were saying, "Oh my God, this is going to expose the global child trafficking ring, etc., etc." And I felt compelled to do a bit of digging into it, and I basically did an expose live on the show, which got taken down. Who was funding it? I showed all the links to the Mormon Church, all these really shady characters. It went right up to the WEF. It went right up to the Mexican cartel. All these people that clearly involved in child trafficking were basically funding the film in a nutshell.
Yep.
Now, when I did this, Jason, the amount of backlash I got from people, especially a lot of them were in the States or in Canada. They usually were involved in the Q movement. But I had people in my inbox calling me a paedophile, and they sort of basically refused to look at any of the information because they were so blindly locked in with the narrative. But these guys, they're sat there with Trump. They're talking about child trafficking. These are the good guys. How can you shoot them down? And I'm just like, guys, this is so obvious.
Yeah,
it fooled so many people.
Yeah, when that movie first came out, I also warned my listeners on Archaics TV, don't buy that shit. That shit for a movie that was made 7 years earlier to suddenly just blow up, it's because it's narrative. And their think tank told them this is the time we release it now. The movie was 7 years old. So yeah, it's crazy, dude. The whole thing's crazy. So,
but the thing is now, because I think people have got to possibly the point of no return with following the Q drops and stuff like that. Now it's sort of like when they're that heavily invested, it's really, their sword is so firmly stuck in the dirt at the top of that hill. They're ready to die on that hill. Anyone that questions it, anyone that brings any conflicting information that shows, look, this is clearly a psyop, it's Operation Trust all over again. You guys don't know anything. You need to do your research. And hey, I'm not going to lie. When Q first came out in 2017, 2018,
I've heard people say that they can hear me talking over the video, but they can't hear you.
I wasn't sitting back and waiting for anyone to save me or trust in the plan. I was still, full steam ahead. But I think you coined it, the Patriot Pacification.
Muted. I'm muted, wasn't I? Again. Yeah. Can you hear me, DK?
I can hear you. I'm just waiting for it to go through on the stream,
Cool.
just to make sure things are working on there. But yeah, I can hear you, man.
Laughing. Okay, mate, you're actually you're a little loud. Actually, can you turn your volume down? Just a little.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good. Right. Talk again. No, that's all good. Well, anyway, let's get back to what we're on about. I'll pause the video.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there we go. Yeah. No, everything's coming through now. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well,
There was a 15-second delay before it comes through on the stream and shit. So I was just waiting for it to make sure that I could hear you and stuff on the stream. Yeah, man, you're all good.
Okay. Well, the reason I paused that because it's quite a compelling little video. It goes for like 3 hours, and
Oh, does it?
yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That section was started at 40 minutes. You know. So yeah.
Ah.
So if you want to watch that full show, the link's in the description. Funny enough, to archaics. That word.
Archaic.
Archaic. Yeah.
Archaics. Yes.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Yes. Yeah, no, look, I'm the English.
Put it out, brother.
I'm the Englishman here, mate. I can butcher the language as much as I want. Well,
go for a butcher's hook, mate.
Yeah, geez, you sound like a pommy. Anyway, folks, let's talk something real like that. Happy New Year to everybody. You know, it's coming up tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it after that video? Happy New Year. I tell you what, you know, and who knows whether these things will come true or anything like that, but it's pretty scary. Yeah? And is that the thing?
What it comes down to is the Agenda 21 plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have milestones set that they want to achieve along the way.
Yep.
See, 2025 is a milestone year.
Yep.
2030 is a milestone year. 2045 is a milestone year.
Yeah.
There is actually, there is the long-term plan, and there's just certain targets they want to achieve all the way along the way, and they have years set for when they want to achieve a certain amount of things by. So because they haven't achieved as much as they want, this year is going to be crazy because they need a lot done by the end of this year to achieve their goals for 2025.
Yeah. Yes, and
so expect more forest fires, expect more people to get driven out of the countryside, expect more like major storms and shit to drive you out of your home, so you need temporary housing. Expect the shit to actually get worse, because the first step is to drive you out of where you live, and then they house you, and you have to abide by their rules while they're housing you. While they build the 15-minute city, they're going to eventually shift you to.
Yep, exactly. And that's the way the world is going. And can we stop it now? Probably not. Yeah, we can only sort of help ourselves, basically, in the case of...
We can.
Yeah.
We can stop it, but you can't do it single-handedly.
That's correct.
So you need to get involved with, like, community groups, local militias, like, what the fuck ever term you want to give it. But you need to be involved with local groups so that if something happens, you can get a hold of people on the phone and get people to turn up and help you. Because if you're one person and 10 of them come at your house, you're fucked.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
If you can't get people that come up behind them and go, what the fuck he is doing, and they're recording and they're like staunching them out and shit, if you can't get people to do that, it's over.
Yeah.
There is no coming back. There is no one-man stand bullshit.
Yeah.
There is going to be you getting killed and the media telling everyone that you were the bad guy.
Yeah.
So without getting people like involved in anything that happens, it's like you're just going to be made out to be the bad guy no matter what.
Yeah. Yep.
So we need to actually get more people like involved in community groups. Start with gardening groups. Start helping at local community gardens. See who you meet. See where it goes from there. This is very plain language and a very simple thing that anyone can do.
Yeah.
You need to go and actually start finding people in your local community that you can end up relying on if some shit happens. And food is where everything starts.
Yeah.
So community gardens are an obviously logical place to start with.
Yeah. Yep. And well, the funny thing is, you're going to get your what are you going to reap before the Olympics? No, that's
Holy shit.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Well, see, that's it. Like,
that is
this
a
this
great
what I
idea.
mean. So you need to actually have something set up, because if
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking kicks off,
Mhm.
dude, if that kicks off,
Yeah.
and you suddenly have like 100 of them walking down the street, and you've got no one to back you up
Yeah.
in any way whatsoever,
I got a baseball
like
bat.
you're just at their mercy.
I got a baseball bat. That's about the only weaponry I got.
I got a sword.
I got a sword, cool. Yeah, well, that's a start, you know. Actually, though,
Oh, you're not seen it.
No.
There's been like heaps of memes and
Oh,
shit
yeah.
made about it.
yeah. Yep. Oh, yes. Yes, I've seen it before. Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't fully draw it, because apparently, if you fully draw it, you've got to put some blood on it.
It can't be sheathed without having blood on it.
Yeah.
But mine's just like
Ceremonial.
mine's just like a model one. It's not a
Yeah, not a real thing.
it's not a strictly
That's
legit one.
that's what we'll
It's
tell.
just a replica.
That's
the
what,
word I was looking
that's
for.
what we'll tell the audience anyway. Hello, audience. By the way, yeah, welcome to Amos Soon 30 end of year show with DK, and I just thought I'd jump in there and let people know that we're still thinking of them, those poor people out in the rest of the world. That well, we're having a great time in life. Most of the world's population is having a worse time than us, and things may change soon.
Unfortunately. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's actually funny, because the perception is that like New Zealand and Australia are completely fucked.
yeah. Why is that? Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I said, the media, the perception people have is that we're completely fucked. Whereas, dude, nothing has changed in my life since COVID started.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a jab. I carried on going out when there was lockdowns. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The only thing that changed was there was certain shops that were closed or certain shops that were dicks, so I didn't go to.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, there was nothing else that actually changed.
And that was pretty
So I
much.
don't know why they think we're so fucked up, other than listening to like the mainstream media bullshit and listening to what Jacinda Ardern was saying, and whatever your fucking Prime Minister's name is.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh, yeah.
shit. Yeah, but see, that's what I mean.
Anthony
They
always
speak-
overseas.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They speak, and the media tells the world that,
Yeah.
and that's what everyone thinks is really happening. It's like, no, that's just politicians talking.
Yeah.
Fuck all of that actually happened.
Yep. That's exactly the truth. Like sort of, I was watching a thing earlier on YouTube. There's this independent news dude in Britain somewhere, or London, and he was talking about the local riots. They're having a lot of local riots lately with migrants just rioting basically for the sake of rioting, I guess. And funny enough,
Oh no, they're pro-Palestine riots.
no.
See,
I saw some videos,
No,
mate.
see,
These
why-
guys were just bunch of. It was a mob of blokes with sticks and fucking confronting the police and being sort of assholes. And
yeah, I think
this guy was
honestly,
saying,
I think it's a pro-Palestine riot.
well, that's
By
highly
all
possible.
the Muslims, by all the illegal Muslims and shit that have invaded the UK.
Yeah,
But it's a pro-Palestine one. So even while I sit here and I hate what Israel is doing to Palestine, I hate what the Muslim community is doing to every Western nation as well.
yeah,
See, I don't side. I don't side with Palestine, but I side against the state of Israel. Because what the Muslims are doing in every Western nation is an abomination.
yeah,
Especially like the fucking girls that got raped and stabbed and shit.
Yep.
Like, holy crap, man. And none of that makes it, well, fuck all of it makes
Yeah.
it to the mainstream media.
Well, that's
Because
what
they
this guy
don't
was
want to
saying.
make because they don't want the nationalists to be angry at the people who are raping and killing everyone.
Well,
How fucking ridiculous is that statement?
yeah. We've got someone else join the conversation. Oofcats.
Oi,
Oi.
Oh, hey, cat.
How you going, mate?
God wins. It's God wins from DK's
I
chat.
know who it
Oh, yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah. God's wins.
Yeah, last night on Tismo
Yeah.
Dome, they had you screeching, DK.
Oh,
Hey, this is a live stream. We don't need to talk about shit like that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So did you
You're,
watch?
you're doing your podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing a live show. This is Amos Soon 30. Sunday Soon 30.
Nice.
Anyway, it's look at my YouTube channel. It's you're talking live on my channel right now. So anyway,
Yeah.
did you you've been watching the show so far? What did you think of the content of the Jason's little talk just before? You know, the archaics bloke.
Archaics.
Yeah,
Come on, why can't you say that word?
I don't know. So
Archaics.
So did you watch it? He's muted again. Maybe he's going back to have a look.
Yeah, because he didn't realize it was a live. Yeah, he didn't realize it was a live show. He thought we were just chatting on Discord.
No,
Yeah.
this is yeah, that's okay. But anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
See the fucking things you have to deal with doing live streams.
No, mate, I love it. This is it's random. Random is good. It's just sort of yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well,
Just adds entertainment value.
yeah. Well, I reckon might watch a little bit more of the video. I think. Yeah. The Jason thing. So I might put that back on for a while, and we'll mute out and chat again a bit later, eh? Sound like a plan?
All right, sweet man. Go
Okay,
nuts.
mate.
Cool.
No worries. Okay. Well, I'll get rid of that.
Hit me up when you want to pause and chat again.
Will do. Yep. Let's get Brave back up, and here's Brave, and here's the show again. Here we go, folks.
Vacation program.
That's what it was. I did coin that, but that's what it is.
I'll just
I'm talking about.
go back a tad.
Nutshell.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, when I did this, Jason, the amount of backlash I got from people, especially a lot of them were in the States or in Canada. They usually were involved in the Q movement. I had people in my inbox calling me a paedophile, and they sort of basically refused to look at any of the information because they were so blindly locked in with the narrative. But these guys, they're sat there with Trump. They're talking about child trafficking. These are the good guys. How can you shoot them down? And I'm just like, guys, this is so obvious.
Yeah.
But it fools so many people.
Yeah, when that movie first came out, I also warned my listeners on Archaics TV, don't buy that shit. That shit for a movie that was made 7 years earlier to suddenly just blow up, it's because it's narrative. And their think tank told them this is the time we release it now. The movie was 7 years old. So yeah, it's crazy, dude. The whole thing's crazy. So,
but the thing is now, because I think people, again, you guys don't know anything. You need to do your research. And hey, I'm not going to lie. When Q first came out in 2017, 2018, or we were aware of it, we were taken in a little bit. We found it quite interesting. I wasn't sitting back and waiting for anyone to save me or trust in the plan. I was still, full steam ahead. But I think you coined it, the Patriot Pacification Program.
that's what it was. I did coin that, but that's what it is. I'm talking about 22s and all that. There's a bunch of them that Charlie Ward and Simon Parks, they were in on that. Mel K. I couldn't stand Mel K. Every time I listen to Mel K, I'm like, damn, she mentions everybody in the world who's guilty of everything except the tiny hat. She will not lay charge to a tiny hat. So I used to listen to Mel K. I used to be listen. I voted for Trump the only time I have ever voted in my life. I've been out of prison for 7 years, but for 2.5 years, three and a half years, I've been off parole. I'm absolutely free, got all my rights back, and the first thing I got in the mail from the state of Texas was a voter registration card. I filled it out, and I went down there to support Trump because I couldn't have that other bastard win. And now that I look back on that, I'm like, wow, everything I've learned about Trump now, his family history, who his daughter married to, her conversion. Oh my God, man. I see all this. Like, wow, I had no idea that was your ethnicity. You fooled everybody. Yeah, Trump isn't even his last name. But it's crazy, man. It's so crazy, dude.
Now, back to the Middle East. So we've covered the first seal. You're saying that the first seal, Apollyon shooting the toxic spear, was the rise of the Soviet Union and people attending the Britney Spears concert.
Absolutely, it was Apollo Pharmakia. Remember, the theme of the book of the Revelation for the Great Tribulation. The theme is the release of Apollo, the release of the god Apollyon from the deep. That's the theme. But we haven't got to that part. We're just breaking seals. And the seals were
maybe time to end the video, guys.
Sheep of the house
Now
of
it's just
Israel,
all about
whoever
Trump.
they are, addressed to 7 Greek cities, Europe. So,
Oh wait,
Europa.
now he's going back
we
to the
have
Middle East.
seals
Hang
that
on.
are nothing but messages to wake up. These are the signs of where you're at in the divine chronology. This is all it is. So the first seal breaks. Okay, this is when the human race is attacked by Apollo Pharmakia. Okay, second seal. Okay, this is when small arms knife attacks happen all over just to take peace from the earth, and it works. So the third seal is when they literally collapse the economy. And this is we can go on in another video. I don't want to go too much further.
No, that's fine. But what I would like to zoom in on is the Middle East. We have these 3 Abrahamic religions, which are all laying claim to one particular piece of the realm. Okay,
Which are actually all ancient cults.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, a lot of your work with the chronology, obviously referencing the Old Testament, the Bible, and other sort of works that are based around the Judeo-Christian world. Obviously, we have ancient China, we have ancient South America, and other. What is special about the Middle East? What is in Jerusalem? What is under the Dome of the Rock that the small hat dark priest class currently sit there, hiding it from the Muslims? But
Is that where the Ben stone is?
what in your opinion, what is there something actually special about that geographical location?
Okay. I'm gonna put this in perspective, all right? The newest religion of the 3 that are used by the controllers like chess pieces to manipulate events is Islam. Anybody who has done a deep dive on the origin of Islam knows 2 things. One, that Muhammad was directly influenced by the Vatican, and that the oldest Qurans do not match the newer Qurans. I have a Quran in here right now from 1803. It's translated into English. There isn't a single chapter break, no chapters, no books, no surahs. From the back of the book to the beginning of the book, it's one solid text. It is not divided. So by 1803, the Quran was still without surahs, and it hadn't been structured the way we have it today. So it's a very new religion, but its most holiest histories and text and traditions come from Becca, which is ancient Petra. But when the Umayyad dynasty that was ruling Islam, when the Umayyads had collapsed because they were taken over by the Abbasids moved the capital of Islam from Becca to Mecca.
So that means, Jason, that whenever everyone goes to their holy pilgrimage to Mecca, they're in the completely wrong geographic. They're praying to a completely wrong geographical location to what they originally should be.
That's all by design.
Yeah.
That right there is the cube of Saturn.
Yeah. Yes.
Saturn
Thank you,
That's the
Michael.
cube of Saturn. They don't even know that they actually
Michael.
hoodwinked into worshiping basically a false god or a god of the underworld, god of secrets, god of the occult.
I'm so glad you've just said that, Jason. Like, can we even soundbite that? This is what I've literally been telling people since we started Rise Above back in 2020.
Well, this right here was done to make Islam one of the major chess pieces on the board the elite can use. It's the newest religion, but this is what it's done. The second newest religion is Christianity, which was literally the Christianity that we know today was literally born about 300 years after the Anno Domini calendar would be 300 AD. The what sealed it was you know the history of the Council of Nicaea, which basically formalized the biblical books. Prior to that, there were over 1,500 New Testament books. We only have a few now. Well, we got 13 letters of Paul, 4 other apostles in the book of Revelation. So there were 1,500 New Testament, not New Testament, but Christian texts. So once they removed all the ones that didn't really fit the paradigm, basically Christianity today is not the Christianity that it originally was out of the Gnosis. So Christianity is the second religion that was invented by the controllers to do what they needed to do. They can pit these two major religions which govern over whole cultures, and they can use them against each other. Remember, these people are excellent at what they do. War by deception, always fund and control both sides of a conflict. So this leads us to our third. Now, I'm not saying Christianity doesn't have its values. It does. There's very spiritual material, but it comes from older sources. In these older sources, Christianity is the amalgamation. It is a soup made of all the best ingredients. All the greatest spiritual materials were put together to put Christianity together. But it's the human sacrifice, the sun god mythos, basically imposed upon the life story of Apollonius of Tyana.
So yeah, no, go on, Jason. Go on, continue.
That was amazing.
So this is what we have with Christianity. But the oldest of the three Abrahamic religions is the one that created the second two. The original is, as you know, the Judaism. But Judaism is not ancient. There is absolutely not a single reference to the Old Testament before 81 BC.
So sorry, Jason, I'm just going to stop you there. Sorry. So Lance just jumped the gun there.
I just ruined it.
But when you were talking a minute ago about Islam being a new religion and the black cube of Saturn is what people are moving around in Mecca, I just went to Google and just sent Lance a picture of a Jewish rabbi with a black cube on head. So like you just stated there, Islam's a new religion, and like you just stated that Christianity and Judaism are relatively new religions, and you've got Islam marching around the black cube of Saturn, and you've got Judaism here with a rabbi with a black cube on the head. You've got to be a fucking retard not to see the connection between the two.
It's going to make a lot of people mad, but by the law,
no, that's fine. Honestly, the viewers on Rise Above, I've been talking about this for the last 3 years here, but then you've mentioned in your other videos, Jason, about the Christian Reich, which is coming. So could you just elaborate on that, as you've just mentioned Islam and mentioned Christianity and Judaism, and now what it's all going to be amalgamated into one?
Okay, before I do that, let me continue with the picture you just showed. All right. This is going to anger. Listen, I don't have anything against Islam. I got friends that are Islamic, but this right here, by the application of sympathetic magic, what we have here is Islam literally directing their worship energy at a black cube that only empowers Jews. This is what we have here.
Holy moly. Now, I'm not going to lie. We have some. I know at least one Muslim that watches the show, and even he said to me privately, he's like, "Listen, I'm a proper Muslim. I believe the Quran, but that black cube in Mecca, that is something that I cannot get down with." He goes, "Whatever that is, I don't want to be a part of it." And you know, he's a devout Muslim.
That was introduced by the Abbasids, who came into power in the year 762 AD. The reason I know this, I can pull it out of my head like that, is because that is on the 600-year ancient Sumerian Anunnaki Ner calendar. Every 600 years, a new dynamic personality or a new religious belief enters the field. This is what happens and on my channel, I document every 600 years. This is called the Anuna Nur chronology. It's 600-year periods. Well, that 600-year period hits 762 AD. It nails it. That is the year the Abbasids took over from the Umayyads and moved their capital to Baghdad, which is otherwise known as Babylon.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't it in the year 800 AD, which is very shortly after that, when some of the original Khazars first converted to Judaism, before they then converted in 1666 to another religion? I'm sure that was a very important date.
Yeah, because the Khazars were given a choice. They were given a choice to join the Turks, to join the Christians, or join the Jews. They chose Judaism because the Jews at that time throughout Europe were established in ghettos, and those were zones of neutrality where people just left them alone.
And they were all over the place.
Yeah, they were all over the place at the time, except for the countries that were kicking them out, like Russia.
Yeah, Russia was having
man.
none of it. We talked about this in 2020. If you
Well,
remember,
the
we
story
did talk about
is,
this.
even in the mainstream media, that Putin kicks out the Red Shield banking cartel in the 90s, and a lot of the oligarchs that
I hope you're not in a hurry.
to leave
Hey, I hope you're not in a hurry.
were essentially
ages.
agents of the Red Shield Double R clan, as we call them. You know,
I said, I hope you're not in a hurry,
and the
because we could talk for
Rockefellers.
ages
You know,
about
so-
the shit that's just in this
Well,
one
how
video.
much of that is true or not, I don't know, because we've often talked about this before. Is Putin
No, you don't.
really
You're lying.
true
You just want you just want to go
to
bolo.
that cult, or is he just playing the game and just it's very hard to know.
I don't know, but let's get back to
Go on.
the first of all, Judaism. People need to understand. Biblical archaeologists almost are never Christians. The
Nice.
reason is because almost everything about Jerusalem and all the stories of the Solomon dynasty,
man.
the David
Yep, cool.
dynasty, all this stuff is untrue. There are no other ancient nations. We have records in cuneiform from so many. They should have existed. They should be there, but they're not. And archaeologists who have excavated Jerusalem know for a fact that what is described in the Old Testament for that period for Jerusalem does not exist in the archaeology. It doesn't. Jerusalem is not mentioned as anything important by any ancient nation ever.
Well, folks, that was a small part of a much bigger show. I'll get the cameras back in a minute, and you'll be able to. Yep, here we go. Just there we go. Here, it's not muted or anything. We're all good. So, can you hear me, DK?
No, we're all good. Yeah, I was talking over the video again before. You had yourself muted and me just talking over, so it was like half of a conversation everyone heard.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah. The show is what it is, you know.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, what? Give me your take on the last little bit of what Jason was saying.
Yeah. Where do I start?
Well, I'll give you.
The fact that there's a difference between Zionism and Judaism. The fact that all the different religions, I haven't typed this in the chat on your show. The fact that all religions, all organized religions, are basically about control. It's like, while they do have some good morals and ethics in them, it's all about making everyone behave exactly the same way. But now you have at least four main if you count Hindu, but they're not really involved at present yet. So 3 main religions that are organized religions that all say this is how you should behave, that are angry that other people in their religions don't behave exactly how they want people to behave. I mean, this is just completely ridiculous, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So this is actually the biggest problem with the world, and I think everyone should have a belief in God, but not a controlled, organized belief where you're told what to believe about what you believe. So there's no way anyone should be told, this is how you believe, this is what you should believe, you need to follow this regiment through your whole life. So that's not the way shit works.
No, that's right. It's
Everyone should have their own beliefs
that's right.
and
You
not be and their beliefs should not be controlled.
freedom.
I mean, whether
freedom
it's
of belief.
whether it's religion,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's television, the media, like whatever, everyone should actually be able to, make up their own mind and have their own beliefs rather than being told exactly what they should do.
Yeah. Well, that's you've just got to learn to be good to your fellow man, be good to your, and just do no harm and steal nothing. That goes back to natural law. You don't steal.
It does. I was going to say. I was going to say the first three rules of my beliefs are the three basic tenets of natural law: is don't steal, don't rape, don't kill.
Yeah.
It's not. Don't murder. You're still allowed to kill in self-defense, but do not go out and commit murder.
Yeah.
There is no defense under natural law if you break any one of those three rules.
Yeah. And well, I reckon there's a possibility year coming up there might be a few people breaking those rules. Maybe not. Maybe it's all just. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it's not. Yeah.
The stealing thing. Hey, the stealing thing's been happening through history.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, shit. It got worse as soon as they allowed BLM to riot through America.
Yeah.
They were allowed to rob, loot, and steal. Burn, loot, and murder. BLM.
Yep.
Burn, loot, and murder their way through the whole fucking. I don't even know how many cities it is anymore.
Yeah.
There's about half a dozen or more different cities around America that they were just allowed to do that in.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard of that Black Lives Matter thing. Burn, loot, and murder. That's yeah. Haven't heard that one before, but it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And it does when you realise it does when you realise it had to have been organised in advance. Yeah, for sure.
Because there was no way that there could have been instantly riots one day after that shit with George Floyd, and several different cities all around America. Yeah. So that shit had to be organised in advance. It didn't. Some people didn't go, I watched the news, we should all go riot tomorrow.
Nah.
Well, that shit was planned well in advance. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. They had people in place to get in touch with as many people as they could. So it happened straight away. Yep. Why don't we have that?
Yeah.
No, why don't we have that? Do you know why we don't have that?
Why is that?
Because they don't want us to have that. We are not allowed to have networks and groups and shit online, or we get called Nazis and fucking whatever other name they try to throw at us, and we get our channels shut down. While all the BLM and Antifa ones are allowed to flourish and spread, and they keep reaching all the people they want to reach. We're not allowed to reach anyone for disagreeing with the narrative in the media.
Yeah, it's...
By the way, media used to be spelled Medea, and that is the Greek goddess of lies.
Right. That makes
look at
sense.
what people... Yeah, so look at what people are worshipping.
Yeah.
The Greek goddess of lies. All they did was change one letter, but it's still pronounced exactly the same.
Media, yeah.
Media.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
People are too blind to see, too blind to look, and too ignorant to even fucking try.
Yeah. Well, mate, I'm going to wrap it up. So go and do some things as I do, and it's not going to the
Yeah,
bolo.
go clean house.
Yeah, stuff like that. And yeah, well, I've got some. I've got some guests who might be watching. Melissa and her partner. I can't remember at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, they're coming to visit one day soon, so I better shout the bugs.
Soon.
It's soon. Everything's soon. Okay, DJ, give yourself a quick plug.
Alright, shit. I should probably just put the. Hey, it's probably easier if I just drop the links in the chat and stuff.
drop the
I'll
links
just drop
in
I'll just drop the Discord and the Telegram link in chat because that's the easiest way for people to find me. I mean, I do have YouTube channels and stuff, but I don't use them often enough. So Discord and Telegram are the best ways to find me.
Telegram's definitely the easy
I'm
access.
always on that. Yeah.
That's like it's like the
All right.
Twitter of
Anyway,
old.
much love. No fear, people, and I'll let Alan do his finishing off, wrap up shit.
Okay, mate.
Later, everyone.
See you later, pal. Anyway, folks, that's the show for today. I'm not going to worry about changing the channel or anything. Let me just find the other button. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll do another show soon enough. Don't know. I'm a bit random at the moment. Eventually, I want to get back to the Thursday and Sunday format, but at least you got one on Sunday. Have a good New Year, folks. Hope all this doesn't happen. It may not. It could be. But yeah, be prepared. Yeah, and first and foremost, be good to each other.